All right, 501c12, local benevolent life insurance association, mutual and irrigation and telephone companies like organization. Each of the following organizations apply with the recognition exemption for the federal income tax of the following Form 1024. The Benevolent Life Insurance Association, purely local charter-like organizations. Mutual ditch irrigation companies like organization. Multiple cooperative telephone companies like organization. Like organization that forms a service comparable to that is performed by any of the above organization. The information provided with the owner upon application of each of the organizations described in the section following the information for the procedure following applying the exemption. See Chapter 1. General requirement that these organizations must use the income solely with the cover of the loss of the expense, with any of the excess to be returned with the member that retained with the cover of the future for the loss of the expense if it must be collected with 85% of the income member for the sole purpose of the meeting and loss of the expenses. Mutual character. The organization other than Benevolent Life Insurance Association must organize operated with multiple cooperative business bases. The association person and associate organization both manage or together to provide themselves the mutual desirable service that approximately costs on the mutual basis to maintain the mutual character of the democratic ownership of the control that must be organized operated with the members that have the right to choose the management of the receive the service of the cost, receive the return of any excess payment over losses and expenses that share any assets of the dissolution. The rights and interests of the members' annual saving of the organization must be determined proportional to the business for the organization. Upon dissolution, gains and sales of the appreciated assets must be distributed to all the persons members during the period of assets were open to the organization in proportion with the amount of the business done during the period. The bylaws must provide the forfeiture of the members' rights interested upon withdrawal and termination. Alright, membership of the mutual organization consists of those who join the organization pertains to having the voice for the management and the stock company with the stockholders. Remember that, however, the mutual life insurance organization can't have political policy holders other than its members. The loss and expenses furnishing services is substantial to the cost. The organization must use the income solely with the paying of the loss of expenses. If the expense of income does not retain with this reasonable service, reserve the future loss of the expenses belong to the members in proportion to their patronages business time with the organization. If the patronage funds that retain reasonable amounts for the purpose of spending within improving the funds to retiring capital, indebtedness, acquiring other assets, and unexpected expense for the organization must maintain the record sufficient to reflect the equity of each of the members' assets required in the funds. Alright, distribution proceeding. The corporation may distribute unexpected balance of the collection assessment remaining on hand at the end of the year. The members of the patrons prorated on the business basis of the patronage of the business done with the cooperative of such distribution represents the refund for the costs and services rendered to the member. Alright, the 85% requirement. All the organizations listed above must be submitted evidence for the application that received 85% more of the gross income of the member for the sole purpose of the meeting of the loss of expense. Nevertheless, certain of the items of income that exclude the computation 85% requirement of the organization, mutual, cooperative, telephone, and electrical company. Alright, mutual cooperative telephone company. Mutual cooperative telephone company will be excluded with the computation of 85% requirement of income received in a coordinated form. A non-member telephone company for the performance of the communication services involved in the completion of the long-distance calls to and from between members of the member of the cooperative telephone company, the qualified pole rentals, the sale of the display of listing with directly furnished to members, or the prepayment loan created within 1987, 1988, 1989 under Section 306A, 306B, and 311 of the Rural Electrification Act of 1936. Alright, mutual cooperative electrical company. A mutual cooperative electric company will exclude the computation of the 85% requirement and individual income they received accrued from qualified pole rentals, any provision sales of electrical energy transmission service, the ancillary service of the service provided with the non-discriminatory upon access basis under the open access transmission tariff approved. Accepted on the Federal Energy Regulation Commission under the independent transmission provided with agreement provided with the Federal Energy Commission, Regulatory Commission, other than the income that occurred, but that is directly and indirectly with the member. Through the provision of sale of electrical energy distribution service, ancillary services, the services are provided with a non-discriminatory open access database for the distributed electrical energy not open with the mutual electrical cooperative company. To end the user who serve the distribution facility not owned by the company and any of the members other than income received and accrued with this directly with the indirectly from a member or Generate with a generation facility not owned, leased by the company and its members within directly connected with the distribution facility owned by the company. Any of the members other than the income received accrued directly and indirectly from the member. For any nuclear decommissioning transaction. 5. Any asset change of the conversion of the transaction. Electrical cooperative sales excess fuel and cost of the year purchase, but as income purpose to determine compliance with 85%. Alright, qualified pole rental. The term qualified pole rental means any rental pole other than structure used to support lines if the pole or other structure is used by a telephone and electrical company support one or more wires by used the electric company providing with the telephone and electrical service to members pursuant to the rental and support one more wires in addition to the wires described in 1 used in connection with the transmission of the wire electrical and telephone over the other communications. The term rental for the purpose includes any sale of the right to the use of the pole or other structure, and 85% requirement applied with the basis of the annual accounting period for any of the organization to meet the requirement of the particular year of the proceed. Precludes exemption of the year, but it has no effect upon the exemption of the years in which the 85% requirement is met. Gain from the sale of the conversion of the organization property is considered an amount received from its members and determined whether the organization income considered the amounts collected from the members because 85% of the income tested based on the gross example of capital expenses that can be used to reduce capital gains and purposes of this test. Example, we're going to skip the example. Tax treatment donations. Donations to the organization described in this section are deductible and charitable contributions to the donator's federal income tax. Local Life Insurance Association, Benevolent Life Insurance Association, an organization seeking recognition exemption on the grounds of similarity. Benevolent Life Insurance Association must submit evidence upon applying recognition for the exemption. It will be purely local character of the excess funds of the refund with the members of the retained with the reasonable reserve to meet the future loss expenses, and it may meet the 85% income and equipment of the organization. Issue the policy stipulated with the cash premium or requires advance deposit to cover the cost of the insurance maintains investment from which more than 15% of the income that derived them would be entitled to the exemption. To establish the organization purely local care charter, but they should follow the activities will confined with the particular community place the district of the respective political subdivision activities of the organization are limited to only the border of the state, and it can be purely local character. Benevolent Life Insurance Association does not terminate the membership within a member moves the local area from a local area where the association operates with a qualified for the exemption to meet the other requirements. A copy of each type of the policy issued for the organization should include the application for the recognition exemption. Organizations similar to the local benevolent life insurance company, the organization will include the additional paying death benefits, also provided the payment of the sick age accident health benefits. However, the organization that pays only sick and accident health benefits but not life insurance benefits isn't an organization similar to the benevolent life insurance association. It shouldn't apply for the recognition exemption described in this section. Alright, burial and funeral benefit insurance organization. The type of the organization applied with the recognition exemption organization similar to beneficial life insurance company establishes the benefits are paid in cash isn't engaged directly in the manufacture of funeral service live the performance. Funeral services organization that provides benefits in the form of the supplied services of the life insurance company such as an organization can seek the recognition exemption from federal income tax, however the mutual insurance company other than life. Or mutual cooperative association, mutual ditch or irrigation company, mutual cooperative telephone companies like in the organization now established that they are purely local character. They serve a non-contiguous area. Like organization, cooperative mutual organization that performs a service similar to the mutual ditch irrigation, telephone, and electrical companies. Examples include the following: cooperative provided protection from the riverbanks to prevent erosion, water and sewer services, cable television, satellite television, cellular phone services, two-way radio services, natural gas services. Alright, 501c13 cemetery organization, cemetery company. If the organization wishes to obtain recognition exempt from the federal income tax for the cemetery company corporation chartered solely for the purpose of disposal of the human body with burial cremation, it must file the application with the Form 1024 for the procedure following the like application approval of the appeal of the procedures. Chapter 1, Nonprofit Mutual Cemetery Company seeks recognition exemption should be some of the evidence of the application owned by the operator with exclusively benefit of the owners who hold the lots with a bona fide burial. The purpose did not purpose the resale of the mutual cemetery companies that also engage with the charitable activity such as the burial papyrus regarded with operating with a standard of the fact that the mutual cemetery company limits the membership of a particular class of individuals. Such members of the families won't be affected in the staff of the mutual so long as the other requirements section 501c 13 are met. If the organization, nonprofit corporation, chartered solely for the purpose of disposal of the human body's burial cremation, you should show that it isn't permitted the charter to engage in any business not necessarily intended for that purpose. Operating mutual mortuary isn't permitted. However, the selling of monuments, markers, vaults, and flowers solely for the using in the cemetery is permitted. The profits from these sales are used to maintain the cemetery as a whole. How income can be used? You should show the organization earning will be used only one or more of the following ways: to pay the ordinary necessary expense for the operating, maintaining, improvement of the cemetery, crematorium, to buy cemetery property, to create the fund, provided with the source of income, the perpetual care of the cemetery responsible for the preserve of the ordinary necessary purpose. No part of the net earnings of your organization can inure the benefit of the private shareholder individual. Ordinary necessary expenses for the transaction for the operation, management, the maintenance, and improvement of the cemetery are unpermitted, or a reasonable fee for the services of the manager. Or buying cemetery property. Payments can be made with the amortizing debt incurred by the value of the land, but can be the nature of the property. The distribution may show that the method used in the distance for the purchase of the cemetery property, the purchase of the price and land at the time of the sale, and the cemetery was unreasonable, except for the holder preferred stock and discussed later. No person can have any interest in the net earnings tax-exempt cemetery company crematorium. Therefore, the property transferred by the organization exchange the interest of the organization net earnings. The organization won't exempt so long as the interest remains outstanding. An equity interest organization and interest in net earnings organization. However, the interest of the organization in the organization net earnings, for example, the bond issued by a cemetery company provides that the fixed rate of interest also provides the additional interest payments based on the income of the organization considered an interest of the net earnings of the organization. Similarly, convertible debt and obligation issued after July 7, 1975 considered the interest in net earnings of the organization. Perpetual care and organization. Perpetual care organization included the example of the trust organized, received, maintained administrative funds that received nonprofit tax exempt status. Cemetery under state of law of the contracts can apply with the recognition exemption Form 1024, even though it does not own the land, the burial. However, the income of these funds is devoted excessively to the perpetual care of the maintenance non-profit cemetery as a whole, also in part of the non-earnings and incur with the benefit of any of the provided shareholder individual. Additional perpetual care and organization operated profits established for the civic interest, private to maintain the administrative fund, the income of which is devoted exclusively to the perpetual care of the maintenance and abandoned cemetery as a whole may qualify exemption. Our care of individual plots. When funds are received with the cemetery come for the perpetual care of the individual lot in the crypt of the trust of the created with the subject of the federal income tax, the trust income that is used for the permanently set aside for the care and the maintenance of the beautification over the particular family burial with the mausoleum crypt that isn't deductible in computing with the trust taxable income. Common and preferred stock. A common company is issued common stock of the qualified for exemption, and other note of dividends may be paid, but the payment of the dividends must be legally prohibited either by a corporation charter or the applicable state law. Generally, a cemetery company with a crematorium is an example of the issue preferred stock. However, it can still be exempt from the preferred stock that was issued on November 28, 1978. Was issued after the date under the written plan adopted before the date. Adoption of the plan must be shown to act of the responsible officers appear in the official records of the organization. The preferred stock issued either by November 20th, 1978, is under the plan adopted before the date, they must meet the following requirements. The preferred stock and either the holder of the dividend of the fixed rate, which isn't more than greater than the legal rate of the interest stock incorporation at 8% of the year of the value of consideration of the stock was issued. The organization article incorporation, the preferred stock retired with the rapidly funds required from become available from operations. That all funds not required for the payment of the dividends on the retirement preferred stock are used with the company in care of the improvement of the cemetery property. Tax treatment, donation exempt cemetery company corporation charitable solely human burial purposes perpetual actual care funds operated with connection with such exemption organization deductible charity contribution of the donor federal income tax. However, the donor can deduct the contribution made with the perpetual care with a particular lot of payments made with the cemetery company corporation are part of the purchase private of a burial lot or crypt, whether irrevocably dedicated to perpetual care with the cemetery as well as whole earmarked for the care of a particular lot is not deductible. 501c14 credit unions, other mutual financial organizations.